As your party moves through the forest, they notice the skeletons of large beasts surrounding them. Greetings folks, today I'm going to be showing you how to take some cheap skeleton toys and turn them into awesome looking scatter terrain for your wargames and your role playing games. For this project we're going to be using some cheap skeletons that I got in Pound Stretcher in the UK. A lot of discount stores, pound and dollar stores and shops like that sell these little kits for building fossils and similar things. And with Halloween just around the corner, you'll find plenty of skeletons for things like rats, bats and ravens in your local shops, so look around the Halloween aisle for something cheap and suitable. We're only actually going to be using a really small amount of the bones from this kit in this build, so one kit is going to last you quite a while, and you should get a really decent amount of scatter from 2 or 3 kits. I started by laying the bones down on a piece of foam board that I cut to the rough size, and then I used general purpose filler to create some undulations in the ground and make the base more interesting. I applied the bulk of this with my fingers before pressing the bones into place, and then I came back in with my sculpting tool to clear the filler out of any eye sockets and teeth to keep everything nicely defined. Once the filler had completely dried, I applied a coat of PVA glue to the base, avoiding the bones, and then sprinkled a mixture of sand and small stones all over the base to give it some texture. I applied several coats of thinned down PVA glue between steps to make sure the sand bonded properly, and once that was dry I undercoated the entire piece in black acrylic. You could also use a spray paint here to really speed this step up. Once the undercoat was dry, I roughly applied some brown to the earth. I wasn't very neat here and I didn't really care about full coverage because I knew I would be covering pretty much all of the base with flock, but if you're going to go for a more barren ground then you would apply several shades of browns and some creams with the dry brushing technique here. Once the base was dry, I painted the bones using Citadel Deneb stone, but any cream or bone colour will work just fine. Once the base coat was dry, I applied a wash of Citadel's Agrax Earthshade all over the bones, making sure it flowed into all of the recesses. After the wash had completely dried, I came back in with my base colour and dry brushed all the bones just to bring that colour back up. If you wanted to take this a step further, you could do a light dry brush of white, but this isn't necessary. With the bones all painted, I applied some PVA glue all over the base and moved on to flocking. I started by sprinkling some of my lightest flock into a few spots on the base before doing the same with some of my darkest green flock. This creates some nice variation in colour once you apply your medium tone flock all over the rest of the base. And with the flock applied, this piece is finished. If you wanted to, you could add extra details by going back in and adding more vegetation such as bushes or even some aquarium plants, but I quite like the minimal look because it really showcases the bones. These pieces work really well as scatter terrain and they fit into almost any genre and game system, making them really versatile. It's the kind of piece that you can keep on hand and pop down no matter what game you're playing. There you have it. It's a really cheap and easy project, but it gives a great end result. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and if you've got any suggestions for future tutorials, drop them in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We release new content every single Friday and you can subscribe right here. And if you want to keep watching, you can see our last video by clicking right there. And until next time, happy wargaming.